Hey guys, so today I am bringing you my Hollow Palm Acolyte of Chayula Monk. Now, if you guys have been following the series throughout, you've seen my character grow from the beginning as a league starter to where it is now. But I really want to make this video because I think that my monk is at a point where I'm pretty much finalized with the build, and I'm just waiting for a couple levels to get everything and also upgrade my gear to get it to a point where I think it is good enough to go to clear every single piece of content in the game. Now, with this character, you are definitely not going to be expecting a, I don't know, arc elementalist type of character that's going to blow up the entire screen, or a lightning arrow character. Those are going to be a lot faster and probably a lot more efficient. But I would say that the playstyle of this character is not like any other playstyle in the game right now. It is super fast paced, super fun. It's very, very interactive. Like, you kind of have to pay attention to a lot of things as you're playing this character. And honestly, because of that, it's a lot of fun. It's very interactive and very involved. Now, some of you guys might say that that is a bad character, but personally, I just think it's a fun playstyle that I would recommend to anybody who is maybe looking to have a little bit more, I guess, input into the game, as opposed to just pressing a button and clearing the entire screen. It still fires fast, it still performs well, and I think it's just a very fun playstyle. Now, here is my character, Chalupi Cabra. It is a level 90 Acolyte of Chayula right now, and in terms of its defensives, it is currently at 1.5k life and 3.2k energy shield, fairly low, and eventually this character is going to be CI, and from the POBs, we should be getting around 5,000 to 6,000 energy shield, so it's definitely possible to get this really high and survive very well. Spirit 113. If I could, I probably would get a little bit more spirit, but again, that is going to be a future update for the character and its gear. And its evasion is about 46%. Honestly, with the current setup right now, and being a Chayula, evasion being at this level is actually not that bad. It's actually a decent amount of evasion, and it's definitely way different from last season, and you could definitely get it up higher with better gear. But overall, I'd say that this is a fairly comfortable level of evasion. Maybe we can bump it up to like 50-55%, but beyond that, it's feeling pretty dang good. The resistances, we are maxed on everything except for cold. Don't look at that. We will max it out soon when we upgrade our chest piece. And we have 19% chaos resistance as well. This is mainly from the original Sin Ring. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are asking, why Chayula? And to answer that, it's simply because, one, I think Chayula is pretty cool since it got reworked this season. But two, one of the main things that Chayula has that no other class has, or rather limited number of classes has, is the ability to leech energy shield. Well, leech life and then convert it into energy shield leech. This is something that Invoker doesn't have. This is something that Deadeye doesn't have. Some of these other more popular classes to play Hollow Palm, they don't have this ability to leech energy shield, which Chayula does. And that's mainly why I picked this character. And also, just the chaos conversion stuff is really, really cool. And, you know, it's brand new this league, right? So I wanted to give it a shot and play it. And so far, it's working out pretty well. As you can see here, Sap of Nightmares, Leech recovers based on chaos damage as well as physical. This is basically the engine that we are working our character around and leeching and getting a lot of our sustain from. So yeah, that is why I'm playing Chayula. If you guys were to play a Hollow Palm character as a league starter, or maybe it's your first character or whatever, I'd probably recommend the Invoker. And in general, I'd say the Invoker is probably better. Invoker, Deadeye, maybe even Gemling, Amazon is another one that seems pretty good. So those are all probably better than this one. But again, this is a chaos variant of the build, which none of the other ones are really able to play. So if you want to play like a chaos variant character, this is really the one to go for. So looking at our character and its gems, we are currently, of course, running into the breach. We are using Harmonic Remnants and Remnant Potency. We also have Herbalism on here, not because we're really using it for like HP pots or MP pots or anything like that. Well, sometimes we use MP pots, but it just, you know, I was floating a little bit of extra spirit. I'm like, okay, you know, this is kind of the most useful thing that I can get in my opinion. So I used Herbalism so I can get some more efficiency on my mana pot. Shattering Palm, this is really the main engine of this build for map clearing. This is going to be what's driving our clear, and you're basically going to be using this to enter every single pack, every single mob, just to be able to, I guess, clear very well. So this is linked to momentum for damage, chaos attunement since we are a chaos damage build. We have ancestral call linked to this as well, and ambush to make it so that we're always critting, and magnified area. So this is going to basically, we're going to put it on an enemy, right? It's going to spread icicles across onto other enemies. And then when those enemies die, they will explode into ice explosions, kind of like Herald of Ice. And that is going to chain across the screen. And that is our main form of clear. After we apply the Shattering Palm, of course, we need to burst it and kill the enemy, which is what we use Ice Strike for. We have this with Crescendo 3 to ancestrally boost our attacks. Blindside, because we do blind with this build, and it does increase our crit chance and crit damage, which is nice. Rapid attacks 2, just to attack a little faster. Concentrated area, and also Rage 3 for more attack speed. As you can see, we are putting a lot of focus on attack speed on this move, because it's very important to have high attack speed. That way you're able to get to your third strike, which is going to be the biggest damaging ability. And also it's going to get ancestrally boosted. So that's why attack speed is really important. And also if you have low attack speed, you're not killing the monsters quickly enough. A lot of times they can hit you and stun you out of your combo, which is really annoying. So getting as much attack speed on Ice Strike in your character as possible is very important. Now, Hand of Chayula is basically used for single target and also charge generation. We have Despair, we have Sniper's Mark, we have Rapid Attacks, Heightened Curse, and Overabundance. Now, we have it linked to Sniper's Mark because this is mainly used for single target charge acquisition, because we are a chaos build, so we can't really guarantee to actually freeze enemies for combat frenzy. So we're using this in order to make sure we're getting our charges at the beginning and also against bosses. And we have it linked to Overabundance so that we can always have, basically cycle the charges, because if it has a cooldown, you might hit this on the boss, you get one charge, and that's kind of a short duration on our charge staff. So that's why we have Overabundance. That way we can do it twice in a row if we go into a boss fight with 0 charges at all, which usually doesn't happen unless we're fighting pinnacle bosses. So we have a link to Despair as well because we're a chaos build, so this will increase our chaos damage as well. Bell is going to be our other move that we're going to combine with Ice Strike for single target damage, and this is kind of like the main single target. So we have Close Combat, Heavy Swing, Overabundance, Heft, and Magnified Area. I have Overabundance on this just so that we can continue generating combo while the bell is out. That way we can just keep cycling bells as we're hitting the boss. So that's why we have Overabundance there. And every now and then you might be able to plop down 2 before the other one expires. So just more damage, which is nice. We have Ball Lightning. Now this is a very interesting one. The reason why we have Ball Lightning is because, and you might be wondering, why do you have Ball Lightning? You can't shock or anything like that. What are you doing? Well, on our second weapon set, we are actually using Voltaxic Rift. So we can set our Ball Lightning to our second weapon set, and then whenever we throw out our Ball Lightning, whoops, that's the wrong one, Ball Lightning, right? That will allow our chaos damage, which is everything that we do, to shock. So we throw this out before every single boss. That way we have a chance to shock it, and if you don't shock it, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but that way we have a chance to shock it and do more damage. So that is why we have Ball Lightning, and we have it linked to Shock, Unleash, Multi-Shot, Rapid Casting for faster casting, right, and Stormfire. The reason why we have it linked to Stormfire is because of the fact that as a Chayula, we use Unraveling, which gives us the ability to ignite, shock, and freeze on our attacks, which is going to cycle every 2 seconds, right? So every now and then you will be igniting the enemy, and as a result, you can use Ball Lightning with Stormfire and have the shock not disappear, so you don't have to reapply it. Though oftentimes, more than not, you're going to be shocking with your main attack anyways while you're hitting the boss, so it doesn't really matter too much, but it's just a nice to have. Now, Wind Dancer, we have it linked to Maim, Pin, and also Knockback. That way enemies get knocked back when they hit you, but also we have a chance to pin and maim them so that they're pretty much, demobilized so they can't attack you. This is used for our evasion. We also have Ghost Dance to recover on small hits, and Combat Frenzy is going to be there to help us generate charges. And again, you might be wondering, hey, you're doing all chaos damage, how are you going to generate charges? Well, again, we have this to unravel to cycle between the elements. for our ailments. Now, this unraveling ability is a little bit jank because it doesn't always cycle to a new one. Sometimes it can cycle to the same one like 3 or 4 times, which can be a little bit annoying. As you see right there, it keeps cycling to shock. So in that case, we're not really getting the freeze that we're going to get the combat readiness, combat frenzy to give us our charges. But I found that it's pretty dang consistent. We're actually able to keep up our charges throughout the map pretty dang often, and most of the time we just start off our frenzy generation with Sniper's Mark, and then after that we're just good to go for the rest of the map. So it's actually surprisingly consistent there. And then lastly, we have Charge Staff, which we use to make sure we are getting us a little bit more damage. But in addition to that, we use our Charge Staff to apply Blind. Because we are using Blind Side on our character, I just want to have a consistent way to apply Blind on this character and always have that Blind Side ability up. So on this, we have Prolonged Duration, we have Blind, we have Perpetual Charge, and we also have Withering Touch because we are a Chaos damage build, and all of our stuff does Chaos damage mainly. So because of that, we can use Withering Touch to apply Wither onto the bosses when we are single targeting them. So that is why we have Withering Touch here. I don't have a 5th socket in here yet. You could probably do like Chaos Attunement or something like that for more damage. So that's probably what you put in that 5th slot. Now, before we move on to the passive tree, I did want to address the Falling Thunder one-shot. I know that there is a one-shot tech out there. I think Corbin made a video that I'll link below. I know it's really strong. The Falling Thunder ability is probably the strongest quarterstaff bossing and single target ability there is right now. So that can definitely be achieved by this build. But for me, I just didn't want to go that route because it didn't really fit the fantasy. So if you're interested in the Falling Thunder one-shot, I'll link Corbin's video down in the description below so you can learn that, and you can use this to one-shot on top of just doing your other damage like the normal Ice Strike stuff I'm doing on my build. But for this build, we're doing Ice Strike and Bell for single target, just for the fantasy and excitement. But yeah, those are our current gems, and they work pretty damn well. Now, for our tree, we are a Chaos build, so we are mostly focusing around a lot of these Chaos nodes, but also just general crit damage, crit chance nodes there, here and there as well. Now, all this is on the Mobalytics guide, so my tree isn't going to look exactly like the one there because that one is at like level 99 or something like that, so we're missing a couple nodes, but when we level up, we'll continue to get those nodes there. But for our tree, you might notice that we have a weapon set swap, right? And that's because, again, our second weapon set is the Voltaxic Rift. So we want to be able to maximize the amount of shock and that we get on this character, but also shock magnitude. So we have a couple of shock magnitudes here and there, right? So when we do inflict that shock, it is going to be a higher level of shock. And we also have cast speed because we are using a bow, so we're not using a wand. So cast speed can be a little bit slow unless you have some of these cast speed nodes. So that's what the weapon set swap is. Our first weapon set, of course, is going to be our unarmed set, right? And that is going to be mainly the chaos damage and our damage build. And then the offhand, the secondary weapon swap is going to be the bow. And then we are mainly just using this to cast ball lightning. So that's why we have that. And then for our ascendancies, we have currently, of course, Waking Dream for Into the Breach. We have Sap of Nightmares for the Leech. We have Inner Turmoil, which is going to give us the volatility stacks, which I'm going to be completely honest, I just haven't found this to be very, very consistent. I know some people link like, oh, Catharsis onto their quarterstaff strike or something like that. But I find just, that lowers my DPS because I'm not wailing on the boss with my main attack. So that's why I don't really use that. And this is in general just a very, very inconsistent, not very good node. But we need it because we need to get to Unraveling, which is a much more useful passive for Chaos. Now, if you're not playing Chaos, right, if you're Original Sin, you do not need to use Unraveling because you're obviously applying ailments all the time. But when we do have Original Sin, this ends up being pretty dang useful for our abilities. So that's what we do. The order that we get it is usually going to be Into the Breach first, and then actually you'd probably get Lucid Dreaming, and then later on you're going to unspec off of this. You go Into the Breach, Lucid Dreaming, and then you'll probably go Inner Turmoil, and then you can go Sap of Nightmares. That's the kind of order I do it. And then when you basically swap over to the full chaos. Then you're going to take off the lucid dreaming and put back on unraveling. Now, as for the jewels, I don't have the best jewels. I have ones that are basically kind of old from my elemental build, which has elemental damage on it. But for this build, ideally, you're going to want to have crit chance on your jewels, crit damage on your jewels, and energy shield. So the priority being energy shield first, then crit damage, then crit chance if you can get it. All three of them are pretty expensive, so you're probably going to want to only have one or two of them. But in addition to that, you have a jewel right here called the Heart of the Well. This is pretty much required. You don't, well, sort of, but I would say it's required. You do want one of these because you want the line that says a % of damage is leech is instant. This is very important for our survivability because the main form of survivability we have is evasion and leech. Now, when we have leech, we are able to be a lot tankier, but off of just regular leech and nothing instant, it actually is very slow. You want to have some form of instant leech to actually make it so that you can sustain your energy shield through that. Now, in addition to that, you see that I have some extra damage as chaos. You can also get extra damage as cold and lightning on top of that, and it's not that expensive to have two of those lines. 3 lines could be a little bit more expensive, but having 2 of them, it's like 10 to 15 chaos or something like that. So you want to have at least the instant leech line, which will be very, very cheap to get, and get some extra damage on top of that if you can. But if you don't want to get this jewel for some reason or can't get it, then you can also go and anoint Voracious, which is this node right here, which makes 20% of your leech instant. Now, you're going to lose out on a good bit of damage if you anoint this node, because the node I'm using right now is going to be this Overwhelming Strike. It gives you critical chance and critical damage, which is really good, and is also very cheap. And the nice thing is that it has stun buildup too, which is actually very beneficial for this build, because normally this, when you're using Ice Strike, that's elemental, you're able to freeze the enemies, which makes it a lot easier for you to hit them and have them stand still for your bell. But because we don't really freeze that consistently anymore, we get a huge bonus from stun, and you stun bosses pretty quickly, which you'll see in the short clip that, well, not short, the map clip that I'm going to have later on. So this is very, very useful, and in my opinion, probably one of the best ones to get. As for the equipment, this is very important because we do have a couple pieces of required equipment. So that is another reason why I wouldn't recommend this to most people as a league starter, because you do kind of have to have some stuff. So the first piece of required equipment is, of course, Original Sin. This allows us to convert all of our damage from chaos or elemental into chaos, because we are using monk and we want to leech off of our chaos damage. If we don't have this, then we won't be able to leech very well. Next, we are going to have the Essentia Sanguis Gloves. This is going to allow us to turn our leech into energy shield leech. So that way, when we are leeching, we do get to leech energy shield instead of life, which helps us sustain our character. That is very, very good. Now, the rest of our gear, we are going to be going a mixture of full energy shield and hybrid energy shield evasion. So our helmet and our boots are full energy shield. As much energy shield as possible, as much survivability as possible, and getting stats on these is also important because this build will be using both int and dex stuff. So you're going to want to have a good amount of int and a good amount of dex on your gear. You also want a little bit of strength because there are, the gem requirements, support gems. We are using 8 of them. So you do want to have some strength on your gear if you can get it as well. Any of them, right? Strength, dex, int, whatever you get on your gear and you don't have on your tree, that's what you change your tree to. So you're going to want stats and survivability, as much energy shield as possible. This can definitely go higher. Boots, same thing. Stats, survivability, but also movement speed. Movement speed isn't as important for this build because of the fact that we are going to be teleporting all over the place with our Ice Strike. So I have 20% movement speed just for budget reasons. You can, of course, get as high movement speed as possible if you have the budget for it. But for me, I don't. So I just went with 20% movement speed. For our chest armor, you are going to want to get stats, of course, survivability, as much energy shield and evasion as possible. And if you want, you get some spirit. Now, as you notice, we don't have any skill slots left in our character. So there's a potential, if you want, you get rid of Vile Lightning to get another spirit gem. Maybe you can get Herald of Ash. That can help with clear. Or you might want to get something else like Withering Presence to apply Wither more consistently, right? That's all stuff you can do if you get more spirit. But for me right now, I don't have the budget for the spirit chest armor. So that's why we went with our current setup. And you can also just have ball lightning, but also have an unset ring, right? That's always possible. So lots of different ways you can do it. But for our chest armor, again, in general, you just want to have as much energy shield and as much evasion as possible. That way our character continues to scale. Now, for the belts, you can go Ingenuity, you can go Headhunter, you can go a rare belt, whatever you want. Right now, I'm just using a rare belt. That way I can top off my resistances. But if you have some better gear, you can definitely go something else other than a rare belt to get, Ingenuity or the new belts that we have. This one right here, Darkness Enthroned. You can use it to get like more attack speed, which is really nice for this build, as I mentioned before. Or you get it for more move speed, whatever you want, right? AoE, it's pretty useful, pretty nice. Or you get a Headhunter. Headhunter's always just really good, right? So whatever you want to do with your belt, you can. I just recommend probably like, Darkness Enthroned or Ingenuity or Headhunter. If you want, you can also get a Chevron's belt to make it so that you can use your pots to heal, but that's mostly just before you go this full chaos build. And if you're full chaos, you definitely don't need it. And then for the rings, for the other ring other than Original Sin, we have a ring with flat damage. You're going to want as much flat damage as possible on your ring. So any of the elements, physical, fire, cold, whatever, right? You're going to want to get flat damage on it. And then you're also going to get Life Leech and Mana Leech. The reason why is because we are leeching with Essentia Sanguis. So you're going to want to get that onto your rings. So flat damage and leech. And then for our amulet, you want to get melee skills and you want to get energy shield. And if you want, you can get evasion for survivability as well. This is basically just there to allow you to get more melee skills. And then you can get more energy shield as well, which is nice. Priority is probably going to be like melee skills number 1, energy shield number 2, everything else number 3. You can get like crit damage on here as well, whatever you need. But the required one is the melee skills, and I'd say energy shield just to help you with survivability. But yeah, that's about it. That's the Hollow Palm build. I've been having a ton of fun with it. I'm probably going to play more of it, level up with it more, eventually get CI as I mentioned earlier, and just try to take on the rest of the game. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this build and whether or not you're going to play it. And as always, we have the Mobalytics down there as well, so take a look at it. If you enjoyed the build, if you like the Mobalytics build, be sure to hit the favorite button. It helps the build a lot, helps me a lot, just overall very good. And also, the best way to support the channel outside of that is by hitting the sub button. It is completely free, and it lets me know that you enjoy this content and want to see more. And also, I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisoXShiru, so I'd love to see you guys there. But if not, hopefully I see y'all on the next video. All right, guys. Peace.
Fortune favors the prepared.